Good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning into our daily morning devotion. Today, each of us are facing difficulties in life, and some are experiencing anxieties, worries, concerns, which are all product of circumstances. At ito ay marahil sa mga natural na kalamidad at sa pandemya na hindi naman natin kasalanan, ni hindi rin natin kagustuhan. Maaring isa ka sa mga nawalan ng trabaho, nawalan ng hanap buhay, nakansala ang mga lakad, natigil ang mga pangarap at mga plano sa buhay. This is a day to remind you that today, November 2020, that the Lord is not done yet in your life. Marami pang mga plano ang Panginoon sa'yo. Sabi nga sa Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Na lahat naman ng bagay na nangyari sa atin, may dahilan. At ito ay isa ikakabuti nating lahat. Today, let me remind you of these three things kung sino nga ba tayo sa Panginoon. First, you are created to walk on deep water. On Matthew chapter 14, verse 22 hanggang 32, sabi dito, immediately Jesus made the disciples get into the boat and go on ahead of Him to the other side. While He dismissed the crowd, after He had dismissed them, He went up on a mountainside by Himself to pray. Later that night, He was there alone. And the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by the waves because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them, walking on the lake. When the disciples saw Him walking on the lake, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and cried out in fear. But Jesus immediately said to them, "Take courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it's you," Peter replied, "tell me to come to you on the water." Verse 29, "Come," he said. Then Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the wind, he was afraid and beginning to sink, cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately, Jesus reached out His hand and caught him. "You of little faith," He said, "why did you doubt?" When they climbed into the boat, the wind died down. Then those who were in the boat worshiped Him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." Remember the story of Peter when he was called to walk on water? He shows us what it really means to have faith and the courage to apply it when the current situation is not what we expect to happen. All of us are expecting that all things work together for good, which seems to be the other disciple that are afraid on that situation. But only Peter rises above the situation, who took the opportunity to make miracles just because he focuses on his calling. We all have different storms in life and struggles in life. And the Lord is reminding us that we are created to overcome those struggles. And one thing is for sure, the Lord wants us to elevate our faith. He just wants us to focus on our calling. So if you are experiencing such storms, such struggles, the Lord is calling you again. The Lord wants you to come to Him again. No? Elevate your feet, kapatid. And next, one thing na gusto pang i-remind sa atin ng Panginoon, yung point number 2, which is your perspective matters. Marami sa atin nagsasabi dito, sabi nila, di mo alam ang pinagdadaanan ko. You don't know my circumstances. With that praise, you are taking the ownership of the struggles or the circumstances. Sabi ko dito, never possess what you want to release. Change your perspective. Let us see how God demonstrated the changing of perspective in John chapter 6, verse 1 to 14. This is the story when Jesus made a miracle of feeding 5,000 people. And let me focus on verse 11. Jesus then took the loaves, gave thanks, and distributed to those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. So if you are not familiar with this story, Jesus demonstrated how a miracle can happen kung titignan mo lamang ng tama at kung titignan mo lamang kung paano ang kayang gawin ng Panginoon sa buhay mo. Dahil sa kaorasan na to, 5,000 katao ang kailangan nilang pakainin. Sa verse 8, kung saan si Andrew ay nakakita ng isang bata na merong 5 tinapay at 2 isda. Na kung isipin nga naman natin, paano mo ipapakain sa libo-libong tao, kahit sa 10 tao nga lang, baka bitin pa yan. Pero hindi ganun tinignan ni Jesus ang sitwasyon na yon. Hindi ganun tinignan ng isang disciple na si Andrew ang sitwasyon na yon. Bagkus ginamit ng Panginoon ang sitwasyon na yon para ma-level or mabuksan ang pananampalataya ng bawat isa. Para mapakita sa mga tao kung paano ang pwede mangyari kung iibahin mo lamang yung the way na titignan mo ang mga bagay, kung paano mo haharapin ang mga bagay, kung paano mo haharapin ang mga problema. Your current situation is not your final destination. Change your perspective. Kung sa ngayon nahihirapan ka, hindi mo alam kung saan ka hahanap ng trabaho, hindi mo alam anong ibebenta mo pa para kumita ka, the Lord is showing us a great opportunities. This is a time na kung kailan magiging mas creative ka, may lalabas pa yung mga skills mo para malagpasan mo yung problema na yan. See what the Lord can do to your current situation in your life. Huwag kang manatili dun sa sitwasyon mo lamang. Gayahin mo ang Panginoon kung paano niya tinitignan yung mga pwede mong gawin. Tignan mo kung paano pwedeng gawin o pwedeng baguhin ng Panginoon yung sitwasyon mo. Yun ay kung gagayahin mo kung paano siya tumingin sa problema o kung paano niya harapin ang problema. And last, on my point number 3, you are created to be fruitful. If you are a Christian, it is not your ability nor your authority that requires you to fulfill His calling into your life. He is after the fruit or the souls that you will bring to His kingdom. Yet, if you don't have those fruit as of today, it is not too late to bear one. Allow me to share this life of Sarah na makikita natin sa Hebrews 11, verse 11. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was unable to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. Could you imagine how long Sarah, bago niya ipanganak si Abraham? I did the research that Sarah was 90 years old when he gave birth to Isaac. 90 years is a long wait, just like what we are currently facing. It's been almost 9 months that we have faced and experienced different struggles that really put us to our lowest of lows in our life. Na dinala tayo dun sa hirap na hindi naman natin kagustuhan, na hindi naman natin na-expect. But the Lord is reminding us na sa panahong walang-wala ka, sa mga panahong akala mo wala nang mangyayari sa buhay mo, the Lord will make a miracle. Dapat maging ready ka lang. Dapat ipakita mo lang kung gaano ka ka-faithful sa Panginoon. Ipakita mo lang at ipamalas mo lang yung faith na meron ka. That someday, the Lord will fulfill His calling into your life. And my conclusion, as my title, sabi dito, you are created to rise above your circumstances. Yes, every one of us may pagsubok na pinagdadaanan, may kahirapan na pinagdadaanan. But the Lord is reminding us today na ginawa tayo ng Panginoon para malagpasan ang anumang yung problema na pinagdadaanan natin yan. Let's see what Ezra did in Ezra chapter 10, verse 1 to 5. Ezra wept prostrate in front of the temple of God as he prayed and confessed. A huge number of the men and women and children of Israel gathered around him. All the people were now weeping as if their hearts would break. Shechaniah, son of Jehiel, of the family of Elam, acting as a spokesman, said to Ezra, "We betrayed our God by marrying foreign wives from the people around here. But all is not lost. There is still hope for Israel. Let's make a covenant right now with our God, agreeing to get rid of all these wives and children, just as my master and those who honor God's commandment are saying." It's what Revelation says. So let's do it. This was the time when the people had experienced the revelation na hindi pa naman tapos ang lahat, na hindi pa naman huli ang lahat. And it was Ezra that was appointed by the Lord. It says here, "Now get up, Ezra. Take charge. We're behind you. Don't back down." Kung sa palagay mo, ikaw ngayon, si Ezra na nasusuko ka na, hinang-hina ka na, nawawalan ka na ng pag-asa, hindi pa tapos ang taon, marami pa ang gagawin ng Panginoon sa buhay mo. It is just you reminding the Lord na marami mga tao na nasa likod mo. Marami pang mga tao na umaasa sa'yo. Marami pang tao na lumalaban kasi alam nila na nandyan ka. Hayaan mo lamang na gamitin ka pa ng Panginoon para magpatuloy din sila sa lakarin nila at pananampalataya nila. So in verse 5, we can see that, so Ezra stood up and had the leaders of the priests, the Levites, and all Israel solemnly swear to do what Shechaniah proposed, and they did it. Sa panahon noon, Ezra decided to stood up, na tumayo, labanan, lumaban pa, at hindi sumuko. Pinakita niya kung paano mag-rise up sa sitwasyon na meron siya. And I pray na bawat isa sa atin na nakikinig ngayon, ay matutunan natin kung paano lumaban sa sitwasyon at paano natin gamitin ang sitwasyon na meron tayo ngayon para gumawa ng milagro ang Panginoon. Kung paano may papamalas ng Panginoon ang kapangyarihan niya sa buhay natin. Let's pray. Hallelujah, Jesus. Hallelujah, Lord. Lord, maraming salamat po sa pagkakataon na to, Lord God, that we are reminded, Lord God, of these things, Lord God, na hindi pa naman tapos ang plano mo sa aming mga buhay. Na marami ka pang kayang gawin, Panginoon, sa natitirang months ng 2020, Panginoon. We believe that this today, Lord God, we are encouraged, Lord God, na magpatuloy pa, na lumaban pa, Lord God, at ilaban pa ang mga pangarap namin, Panginoon. Ilaban pa ang mga kaluluwa, Lord God, na pinagpipray namin, Lord God. Ilaban din ang pamilya, na, Lord God, na nasa panalangin po namin, Panginoon. Lord, awaken us, Lord God, sa mga pangarap namin na hindi pa tapos at hindi ka pa tapos sa mga buhay namin. Ikaw pong patuloy na maghari, Panginoon. Ikaw pong patuloy na mag-guide as we do these things, Panginoon, na hindi po kami lalayo sa iyo, Panginoon, at panghahawakan namin ang mga pangako mo sa aming mga buhay. Maraming salamat po, Lord. Ikaw nga lang po mapatuloy na mapurihan, mapasalamatan. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.